Hello everyone! In this video we're going to talk about Illustrator basics and all the different techniques you can apply to your daily workspace for maximum efficiency and speed. So some of the things we're gonna discover today are how to arrange your workspace, how to create this funky fashion workspace, as well as how to create shortcut keyboards and actions. So let's go ahead and get started. In Illustrator, it's very important to arrange your workspace according to your needs. So for instance, I wouldn't mess with the tools, just let them be the way they are. I would recommend that you have your control panel always open and certain features from the panel dock down here. If anything is not available to you, you can find all of that under the Windows menu. So everything is available to you up here and it's all alphabetically listed. As you can see, currently I am under the Essentials workspace. However, if you'd like to create your own workspace, we can do that as well. And it does help for you to have a custom-made workspace so that you don't waste time looking for stuff. And to do that, I'm going to go ahead and erase a couple of these options in here just so that I can show you how to get them back loaded. So something that I definitely would recommend you have handy on your panel dock would be the Actions and the Properties menu. Go under Window and click on Actions. And here is a little thumbnail that comes up. It automatically places it under its own category. However, if it is merged with, I don't know, something else, like let's say the layers and the artboards, you can just drag it out and put it on its own little section. Again, if you'd like to add something else, just make your way down to the Windows menu, select whichever option you'd like to work with, like let's say the Properties menu, and you can just go ahead and merge that with your actions, like so. You can also take them out if you're working on, under extended circumstances. You'd like this particular option to be available to you, you can again separate it from the panel dock. However, if you close out, they usually disappear, so you'll have to reload them again, like so, and put them back in there. Let's say this is the interface that or the workspace that you're interested in working with in the future. You can just click under the Essentials menu, and you can say, I'd like to see this, or I'd like this to be my new workspace. And it'll ask you to name it, so you can just say, this is my fashion workspace, and click OK. Let's say you go back to printing, or it's just something different opens up that you're no longer familiar. You can just click back up here and your window or your preset will be available to you. Additionally, if you'd like to be a little more organized in Illustrator and create your own shortcuts or change the existing ones to something that's a little more efficient to you and make more sense to you, you can do that by going to the Edit menu and then going all the way down to the Keyboard Shortcuts, and here are all of your tools. So you can change how this is looking by just clicking on it and changing the name to whichever letter or symbol you prefer. You can also change the menu commands. If you, opened up that window, you will see there's quite a lot of shortcuts. Some don't have anything assigned. So if you'd like to, add certain symbols, you're welcome to do so. Click OK, and everything will be applied to your workspace. So moving on, we're going to talk about actions. Actions in Adobe Illustrator are basically a really easy way of recording a number of steps that will allow you to repeat multiple different commands. It's just a matter of one click, rather than just having to do all of those commands or steps independently. Again, as a reminder, if you don't have your actions loaded here on your panel dock, you can always locate them from the Windows menu, and they're the first ones up here on the list. Once you open the actions, you will see that Adobe Illustrator already has several different actions that are preloaded. I have found myself to rarely use any of these, so if you would like to turn them off or just delete them altogether, that's okay with me. Also, one of those things that we're going to be creating over and over would be probably buttons, and it's really helpful to make a button action. there are two different actions that we can make for buttons. The first one is to make numerous buttons, and the second one is to distribute them and align them proportionately. You will save a lot of time avoiding to proportionately distribute the buttons when you can just make that happen with just one click. So let's go ahead and make the first action. I'm going to go ahead and choose the ellipse tool, and I'm going to create a button that will be dragged out from the center, holding the Shift and the Option key. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and create a new folder where we are going to store all of our important actions. So let's go ahead and call this folder Fashion, similar to our workspace, so we don't mess things up. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to create a new action. So remember, every time you create a new action, every step that you do is going to be recorded. So let's go ahead and create a new action. We are going to call this action Buttons. We are going to make sure it is in our fashion set. And I like to give colors to know what I'm working with. And I'm going to go ahead and click record. At this point, every action that I do is being recorded. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the button. So Command C to copy. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste it in the front. The command or the shortcut for that is Command F or Control F. So Command F. I'm going to do that 4 times. And the last step here will be for me to go to the Select menu up top here and click Deselect to finish the action. Go ahead and you can stop the action at this point. So here it is. Here is our first action. I'm going to go ahead and minimize that. And if you'd like to see in the Layers menu how this is looking, you can see that now I have all of those 5 buttons that I just created. I'm going to go ahead and select one of the buttons out here, and I'm gonna just delete the rest. See, immediately updates that for me. So just so you can see how this is operating, if I were to click on the buttons and I were to play my action, instead of creating 5 different buttons, I can just play this. You will see they get created right around here. So very easy, very fast, very efficient. So our next step here will be to create an action that will distribute the buttons proportionately. It will take a lot of time for you to do that by hand. So why not save yourself some time and create an action for that. So what I'm gonna do right here is, out of these buttons that I have here, I'm gonna drag out one of them, and I'm just gonna put it like in a random place like that, just so you can see how they distribute proportionately. I'm gonna make sure both of my buttons have been selected. I'm going to call this Align Buttons and make sure it's in my fashion set, and I'm just gonna give it a color here. And I'm gonna make my way to the properties, all the way down to the Align section, where I'm going to expand this view a little bit. Here we can go ahead and align them at the center, and the next thing we're going to do is we're going to distribute them vertically as well, like so. The next process for us will be to make sure we group them, so Command G. So now that we have grouped everything, while it's still all selected, we're going to make sure we go to the Select and we deselect. We always deselect in the end, so that the actions have been recorded. And we're going to go ahead and click Stop. Now that we played the first action where we created our buttons, I am going to go ahead and select one of the buttons, and I'm going to distribute it to where I'd like my buttons to end. Be sure to select all of the buttons and go on your next action and click play. And here it is. Very simple, quick and easy.